Let's go to a live look to Patrick Mahomes right now. What is up, Finn fans and Kansas City Chief fans, and probably all NFL fans, because this is humongous. Patrick Mahomes just signed a most ridiculous contract, a 10-year contract extension. These types of things don't really happen in the NFL. You had a few contract extensions that were pretty ridiculous. Like there was like a lifetime contract with Brett Favre with the Packers, and then you had like 20 years, 10. But nowadays, no one wants to be bogged down to one specific team. Everyone wants their money. Everyone wants the championship. Everyone wants to chase it. You know, I'll give you a good 4 or 5 years, but then I want to be able to move on, especially when it comes to guaranteed money. And I put the quotes, one of them, but I'll put the quotes around guaranteed money because that's what's really important in these contracts is the guaranteed money, because after that guarantee's up, you can get cut and have no repercussions, which isn't even a word, but I'm going to act like you guys know what I'm saying. So let's talk about Patrick Mahomes getting this huge contract extension. I'll talk a little bit about Patrick Mahomes, what I think about him getting such a huge contract extension, and then I'm going to answer one of you guys' comments today, which essentially is, in a nutshell, is about David Njoku. I talked about it over the weekend, but I didn't really talk about it in a video, so I'm going to do it in this video. So let's jump into this thing, right? 10 years. He's getting a 10-year extension. So essentially he had this year and next year left on his contract. Then there was the possibility of giving a franchise tag, but the Chiefs did this right. If the Dolphins would have done not this, now I'm not saying exactly this, like 10 years, but if the Dolphins would have done to Jarvis Landry what they're doing with Patrick Mahomes, essentially not on his final year, but the year before his final year, give him a contract extension, we would still have Jarvis Landry on the team, and they wouldn't be paying him around $15 million. They probably would have locked him in for about 11, and then he would have been on that contract for about 4 years and still with the team. I'm very upset that they didn't do that. I was talking about it for years. So 10 years, up to $503 million. I'll say it one more time. 10-year contract extension. So he's going to be on the team for 12 years. Up to $503 million. $477 million guaranteed mechanisms. What does that mean? Beats me. But essentially there's certain clauses in his contract that will guarantee him these certain types of money, these certain types of guarantees. But in a nutshell, he's making about $47.7 million a year. That's a lot of dough. That's a lot of guacamole, if you ask me. His phone is probably ringing off the hook with his great uncle on his mother's brother's sister's side. $477 million guarantee with mechanisms. But also he has a clause in his contract that if some of these mechanisms aren't met, he can have an out. So if all of a sudden, in 4 years they're not meeting these guaranteed monies, then he can go to a different team. But this contract is just, I waited. This broke around 4:30. 4 o'clock. I waited till the full contract detail came out because I wanted to talk to you guys about it and discuss it, right? This year, he's only taken a $5.3 million cap hit. Next year, it's a $24.3. Again, this is a contract extension. So this doesn't set in until 2022. That's when all of a sudden he'll be making up to $503 million over the span of 10 years. Now, you guys want to know, what do I think, right? What do I think about this type of contract, this type of play? This is baseball money. Normally, like, baseball players get $400 million contracts for like 15, 20 years. It's just ridiculous. I'll give you two sides of the spectrum, right? When it comes to locking him down for 10 years, when it comes to taking such a young, proven, talented quarterback, I like the move. When it comes to the amount of money, and when it comes to just the amount of money, and when it comes to the amount of money, it's just like, That's a big chunk of the cap. Now, I when I was following along with this cap coming out, with this contract coming out, when I was following along with this to try to get all the news and the details so I can make this video, I heard somewhere that the contract was essentially going to be a cap percentage, a salary percentage of the total salary or total cap of the team, which would make more sense to me. You don't want to put all of your eggs in one basket and have the rest of the roster kind of struggle, right? So when I saw that, I was like, oh, that's actually a pretty good idea to not have so much money locked onto one player, but have him have a certain, 15% of the salary cap for the team. That makes sense, but 500 million, 477 million guaranteed mechanisms. I don't even know what the mechanisms is, but hey man, I'll take about 100 grand. I'm trying to get a house done here and I got student debt to pay off. But yes, to say that Patrick Mahomes, there's so much money on this piece of paper, I can't even talk right now. To say that Patrick Mahomes doesn't deserve this type of contract, you could say, hey, man, he's only played, 2 full years, and he actually was a little bit injured last year. He missed 2 games. He didn't really play his rookie year, which the man is a Super Bowl champion and a Super Bowl MVP. And you might say to yourself, yeah, Doug, but, whatever you're going to say. If you watched him in the playoffs, he's the reason they beat the Houston Texans. He's the reason they won the Super Bowl. He is that factor that pushed their team over. Certain aspects of their team were struggling. Hey, guess what? Patrick Mahomes pushed it over to help them win. And that is what I'm talking about, where you will have to have that star it factor quarterback on your team. Yes, you can have a quarterback that, you put the right things around them, you do the right things for them, they will get you where you need to go, but you got to hope and pray that those things don't fall apart around them. You got to hope and pray that they can get you there consistently, where you have the type of players like Patrick Mahomes who will throw the team on his back and win you some games, win you the important games, get you to the Super Bowl, be down by 10, and win you the game. You could look at the Super Bowl and say, hey, there's a little bit of the 49ers just being stupid, but you got to give the man some credit. And the Chiefs gave him some credit in the form of $500 million of credit. Jeez. But looking at Patrick Mahomes, right? Drafted in 2017, 10th overall pick. The Chiefs traded up with the Bills. The Chiefs gave the Bills their first that year, their third that year, and their first the following year in 2018. Bills fans, if you're watching this, which I don't know if you're watching this, but Bills fans, if you're watching this, if you can go back in time, would you take that trade in 2017? Would you take that trade, or would you take Patrick Mahomes right now? I know you guys love your Josh Allen. You love him. But if you had to choose between Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes, which would you take? Fun fact. You know what the grade they gave the Chiefs for that pick of Patrick Mahomes to trade up for Patrick Mahomes? Having Smith on the roster as their starting quarterback already, they gave it a C-. Not even a C+, a C-. So Patrick Mahomes, C- grade, just signed a 10-year, $503 million contract extension. And I tip my cap to you, Patrick Mahomes. You made out big time. Again, love the move of locking the kid down. He's super dynamic. He makes plays. He will win you games. I just don't like throwing that much money at him. But hey, if you think he's worth it, and hey, if this kid keeps bringing you to the playoffs and wins you more Super Bowls, you made the right choice. But I'm just here to tell you, they signed him to a 10-year contract extension, $503 million, $477 million guaranteed, $47 million a year. Jeez Louise, that's a lot of cheddar. But be sure to comment below. Let me know. If you're a Chiefs fan on the channel, welcome. Hope you hit that subscribe button. Like I said, I'm going to talk about everything NFL, especially if big breaking news happens. Comment below. Let me know. I want to know how Chiefs fans feel about this signing. Are you happy? Do you think he gave up too much money? Or are you all right with that because you think he can boost up when the team has some downs, he can lift them up and win you some more championships? Be sure to comment below. I want to know what you guys think, and I obviously want to know what my subscribers and my Dolphin fans think. Would you... Now, here's a question to you guys that I want you guys to answer in below. Say Tua does the same thing that Patrick Mahomes does. Super dynamic, puts the team on his back, wins us a Super Bowl. He's got one more year left. He's got this year and then the next year left on his contract. Would you give him a big fat contract like this to keep him around because you think he'll win us more Super Bowls? Comment below. I want to know what you guys think, and I'm going to get to you guys' comment of the day. Now, this isn't one that someone specific asked me. This was announced over the weekend, and then a lot of you guys wanted my opinion, which I said on Twitter, and I even said it in the community section, so go back and check in the community section. But I'll give you guys a more in-depth answer here, right? David Njoku came out and said he wants to be traded from the Cleveland Browns. I want to move on, tight end out of Miami. I want to move on from the Cleveland Browns. I saw that. I did some backtracking into his play, into all that stuff. You know, he was injured last year. He only played about one game last year. He was active for about 4, only played 1. Didn't do much. Year before that, not bad. 14 starts, 639 yards, 4 touchdowns. Not great. Not to knock the Cleveland Browns, but we don't know what he could potentially do. A lot of people want to say, hey, Doug, would you trade for him, right? The Cleveland Browns and some of their reps came out and said, hey, David is still a huge part of this future of this team. He's still a huge part of the Cleveland Browns. Me personally, you guys know exactly how I feel about the tight end situation with the Miami Dolphins. Gesicki is incredibly dynamic. I love him. He's one of my favorite tight ends that we have. He's pretty much the only tight end I like on the team right now. Just like I said, dynamic, big, physical guy, red zone threat. Love Gesicki. Absolutely love Gesicki. But you know how I feel about depth. We have no depth behind him. Smythe, Roberts, Mayrick, and then the undrafted guy that we converted from defensive end to tight end. We have no depth behind him. I would make the trade. It depends on what they're asking for. You ask for anything more than a third for him, I'm probably going to say no. Just because of he hasn't been playing much. I don't think he played a full season. He barely played last year. Yes, I understand he's still on his rookie contract and he still isn't making much, but we eventually need to re-sign him. And we also have to hope that he can stay healthy and pass his physical. So I'm not giving much. Like I said, tops the third. And yeah, I'd probably kick the tires on it because I want some depth behind Gesicki. I want that interchangeable. I want him to come in, out. I want that rotation. So yeah, I'd kick the tires on it. But again, I'm not giving up too much for this guy. No, not doing it. Like I said, it's the same thing with Dalvin Cook. He's just injured too much, and I don't feel like bringing in someone that isn't sustainable. But yeah, that's what I think. I'm interested what you guys think about this one too. So you got some homework to do. I want to know what you guys think about Mahomes' contract. I want to know if you guys would give this to Tua if he did the same exact thing Patrick Mahomes did for the Chiefs. And would you guys go after David Njoku? And how much would you give up? What is your max for giving up for him? And would you do it? But that's the video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you guys appreciated it. If news like this breaks, I'm going to come out. I'm going to make these videos, and I'm going to tell you what I think about them. And I hope you enjoy that. I hope you appreciate it. Like usual, give this video a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed already, especially if you're a Chiefs fan. Like I said, I'm talking about all teams, but it's mostly a Dolphins team channel. I love my Dolphins. But hey, this is big news. It's a lot of chatter. Also, don't forget Fan to Fan Network, the website that I'm a part of, and this big brand that's coming out. This is coming out soon. I'll keep you guys updated. It was supposed to come out this weekend. We pushed it, trying to get more content on there, get it ready for you guys. So be sure to keep your eyes out for that. But other than that, I'll see you guys in the next video. Like I said, I got a bunch planned. So probably Wednesday is going to be the next video. But like usual, stay classy. Fins up.